Welcome back to my channel, Libra. This is just for the month of June 2023, and what I see here is I have pulled out quite a few cards here. I'll just kind of give you a bird's eye view, just en route, general read. It won't speak to all of you. If it resonates for you, please follow along. If not, then check back in future reads here or further reads that I'll do out for June. But the main energies this month really speak to kind of minor arcana, but wrapping up cycles for sure in the month of June. But I do feel the main energy here for this month seems to be the Hierophant. So the Hierophant really is the card that speaks to a lot of big changes, traditional sort of values, and it certainly speaks to me as though you're making some changes on an inward level, very connected to spirit for sure, but it also is almost like psychological breakthrough here because it's coupled by the Moon card, and the Moon card is doing that deep reflection. And it definitely feels like whatever happens here in the beginning of the month is going to be an indicator of how the rest of the month sort of plays out for you. There is deep transformation energy here on a lot of different levels, because over here we also have the Death card, and there was a couple of cards that fell out with the Two of Pentacles sort of juggling between some things, as well as the Devil energy. So maybe there is something kind of toxic or Cancer that might be relevant here, but definitely water sign comes through for sure. Scorpio energy, Taurus, and the Libra energy as well seem to be the ones most relevant for me. So but as I say, I mean, there's just deep transformation, and I feel like you're kind of being an alchemist and trying to merge all of these deeper values and deeper systems into your whatever's coming through from the unconscious is now becoming much more conscious. Like, this is things where you're having to compromise and find the middle ground, but it is also looking for a new way of integrating your values and your belief systems, because I feel like that's changed this month. And I do feel like this will be where you're able to understand yourself on a better level, so that you can actually harness that energy and turn it into something here that is going to be quite, I would say, coming through on a creative level. But it's a personal path this month anyway, for sure, that is going to allow you to focus your attention on your balance and desires, things that are important to you, that make you happy this month. Sorry, I do not know what it is, but every time I start speaking, when I do these readings, there's an issue there. Anyway, with the Hierophant, as I say, you're using traditional means to go inward. You're definitely following conventional patterns this month. Strong male, doesn't have to be male as in male energy, but masculine sort of energy could be relevant here. Just this could be your masculine side coming out, or you're dealing with your life in that respect. With more of an assertiveness in the month of June, but it definitely feels like you are the one that is putting in some practices in terms of rules and restrictions, or taking the upper hand in a particular situation and structuring things this month. Because you are following a very established way of doing things by using the Hierophant energy. And a couple of times, like I said, I did have a few cards that fell out. The Emperor was one of them, even though it's not here, but I still see masculine energy coming through with the King of Cups. But it did come out a couple of different times here. But the main energy, like I said, is the Hierophant. The Nine of Wands, which is a wrapping up cycle here, and then we've got the Six of Cups, and we've also got the Queen of Swords, and then the Four of Swords. So again, a lot of energy in around keeping distant, trying to maintain some sense of distance, probably even on an emotional level, because it feels like you're really trying to stay focused in a more direct kind of way. I do feel like it's almost like an ideas month, or at least in terms of like, I even feel like there's travel somewhere in the wings here. I mean, even though a lot of the clarifiers are where the travel energy seems to be coming through, I feel like it's further out, maybe not in June specifically, but there is some kind of resistance around that as well. So again, for whoever this resonates for, it does seem like there is something about travel on the mind here also. I do feel like this could be a teacher of some sort as well, that could be coming in to assist you in some way through some difficulties. But either way, for for you regardless. I feel like this is a psychological epiphany, some kind of moment that comes in to, help you to bridge, the things between your psychological space, your spiritual space, and just helps you to control or feel more supported in this month. And again, education could be a big part of this as well, but it just definitely feels like you're really going within here to, in the beginning of the month, to sort of sort through something, because it's very stable, spiritual kind of energy that comes through with those cards. And it's a strategy for sure that's coming in, because there's just a lot of cards of breakthrough energy and sort of swift energy around something from the past. And again, whether this is an old idea, because there's a lot of energy around, there could be some people here as well, but they seem to be all further out, if this is what, is relevant. But for the most part, what I see here is it's something to do with something from the past that you're dealing with. This could be a past connection to an idea that's coming through, that you are getting some kind of, is allowing you to kind of make progress, transit into something new. Because there is a lot of new energy here. Like I said, there's cycles that are wrapping up here with that Nine of Wands in there, and it definitely feels like it's a strategy of some sort, because you are benefiting from those conventional beliefs and systems this month in June. So again, I feel like you're really reflecting on your values and your stability and traditional wisdoms, that kind of thing, to advance yourself this month. And again, when we get to the Nine of Wands, 9 is for sure kind of wrapping up conclusive, energy around some area of your life. You have been going through this Nine of Wands energy, though, for a little bit of time. So like I said, something is drawing a conclusion. You're still in that energy, though, at this point. So again, some of you might be working through this energy a little faster and, have already gone through it. But for others of you, this is still something you're trying to integrate into yourself. But you're about to move into some kind of transitory sort of cycle here. It is coming in pretty rapid here, though, because that conclusive energy is almost there. And further out, we do have the level of progress that's being made. So I feel like, you're still drawing on a lot of energy to kind of make this pathway, this journey. The card of the Seven of Wands, that's still energy as well, in around, sevens for sure are kind of, it's wisdom and things being kept in some semblance of order. But it's also about having multiple options. But I feel like, just from his own stands there, it just feels like you've got triumph over some of the mundane problems or issues that you might have been having, that might have been around, could be a child for some of you. But when I see the Page of Pentacles out here with the King of Cups, for me, it just really feels more strongly. And because there's so many levels of wands relevant here, and they're so close, whereas the rest are a little further out, the main energies seem to be action. It's more, when I see Knights, I feel like that's more direct action. When I see, Nine of Wands, Seven of Wands, and they're still progressive, and Eight of Wands, to me, this is like rapid movement, away from a particular space. So I feel like you are thinking in a new way. There's some kind of communication that's coming through. You have a very resistant sort of energy to this new pathway, but I do feel like there is going to be, some very strong ideas that are kind of propelling things forward here. Again, I feel like you're really incorporating the ideas in this month, and it's putting you into a very advantageous position, but it's also you doing an awful lot of reflection in the month of June. And again, I feel like this could be into childhood. It could be, wisdom, knowledge, lecturing, anything that's in around writing. All of that seems to be relevant this month, but I feel like you're meeting some kind of milestone or some kind of challenge anyway in the month of June. So again, it is based on a lot of reflection, but it's steady movement toward this path. So yeah, I feel like you believe in yourself here. I feel like you aren't afraid to walk this path. I feel like it's kind of starting out into, with the Page of Pentacles, it's still kind of smaller energy here, but you are staying true to the vision here, is what I would say there. And it definitely still speaks to you know, there is still some rapid news, and as I say, rapid advancement that is coming through here that is going to, you know, help you to broaden out some kind of new idea. And again, whether this is you putting your projects onto the internet or something like that, but there's definitely some speak of, I would say, travel, and again, you know, some sense of real progress that's being made here. So again, with that Nine of Wands energy, I mean, it's still you drawing on your strength to kind of get through a situation. It's not been easy. You're still feeling a little bit overwhelmed here, but things are still speeding up. But I do feel like it's still in your favor. A lot of things are coming in pretty quickly here in terms of a spiritual sort of awakening of sorts here as well. But it's more, there's some definite personal empowerment and life transforming kind of thoughts that are coming through here for this month. But you really have to persevere through any uncertainty at this time, because it's still you waiting for this last test of events to kind of, you know, arrive for you to put yourself out there. So when I say last test, it doesn't necessarily have to be that it's an extremely negative scenario, but it could very well be just that something is going to take a fair amount of knowing or a fair amount of effort for you to push through into a breakthrough kind of position. So this has been a long battle for you in some regard. I feel like there's a little bit of battle fatigue as well that's kind of settling in, but I feel overall, you know, just persist and endure, because you are, you know, your patience is being tested, your endurance is being tested, because I suspect you will have to have some sense of, you know, quick response to some scenario here that might be coming in as well. But, you know, maybe you have to make some kind of a decision here pretty quick. But either way, I feel like there's a lot of, you know, very stimulated. Your mind is very stimulated this month. Lots of creativity, lots of energy around you at this time. And even though we've got, like over here with the Queen of Swords, I mean, that is still speaking to you with more empowerment as well. Queens are still in a receptive mode in my mind. There's a lot more that you're still kind of accumulating before you kind of move into this Ace of Cups. But there is still something further out that is a gift that's coming in for you. And again, it could be a symbol of some kind of a love situation that's coming in, new love affair, or even just that there is something from the past that is kind of re-emerging here as well. But either way, it just feels like you are moving into some place where there's going to be some kind of unexpected sort of situation that is going to kind of, you know, because I mean, what I see here with that Ace of Cups, like I said, because it's like there's clarity on a new beginning of some sort. And again, I see Pisces, water sign, Scorpio kind of prevalent here as well. But, you know, there is still some kind of small token, albeit it's not really a love token, although the King of Cups is somebody who for sure has that energy of being rock solid. This is somebody who can, you know, can be trusted, and they're usually pretty calm in how they deal with, you know, particular events. So this could be you or somebody else, but I do feel like you've got a lot of energy here that seems to be just practical, logical sort of energy. Even with the King of Cups, I mean, he's really in control of his moods and really in control of his emotions. So like I said, I mean, I just really feel like you are just really standing out here in a very calm sort of way. Like there's a lot of intuition that's coming through here at this time as well. Like I said, just from a number of cards here, but you're in control of your emotions. I feel like you're really in touch with your feelings at this time. And I do feel like Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, very relevant. And like I said, I mean, your emotions could err on the side of being a little blunt, just because we do have the Queen of Swords over here. But for the most part, I just feel like this is a breakthrough kind of time frame for you, where there's some improvements just in maybe in a love situation here as well. Like maybe there is some sense that you're changing your mindset about something here. But because there's progress with that Ace of Cups and even with the Two of Wands. But, you know, when I I kind of zip back here to the Page of Pentacles, and again, still just a clarifier to the Nine of Wands, but the Page of Pentacles is still that card that talks about sort of something new that's just being extended, like a new offer of some sort, even though education kind of comes to mind when I see that there as well, but it's still like a small token. It's like a small effort on somebody's part to connect, and it's not necessarily kind of a love. This could be you actually as well. It's not really a strong love sort of energy, but it's, you know, kind of juvenile in some way, but I don't see silly. It's just sort of a juvenile kind of effort, you know, where somebody's extending themselves or sending a little bit of a message here, you know, that they might have some interest in something that you're doing. So whether this is in regards to a long-term commitment, or in regards to, and again, doesn't have to be a relationship that's on the love front. It could be very well just a long-term commitment with somebody or in a business situation. But I do feel very strongly this is somebody who's quite mature energy that's coming in here, not only with the King of Cups, but also with that Queen of Swords. So this could be, you know, one person being much more emotional than another, the water sign in particular, you know, versus the Queen of Swords just really holds her own. She's not overly emotional about a situation, kind of just more responsible, handling it kind of energy there. But the Page of Pentacles, like I said, even on a practical level, it just feels like there could be some small token of some sort that's being extended here. So the approach, like I said, would be that there's interest there, but it just seems to be more subdued in some way. So yeah, anyway, but again, there's still some messages here that even that kind of speak to somebody just trying to get your attention here as well. But again, still feels like sort of small, immature kind of energy where there's a potential for some growth, but it's still not quite, and it is dealing with somebody, I would say, from the past emotionally. I mean, there might be a lot of passion around a situation, you know, around that Six of Cups, but, you know, the energy is still kind of immature in some way. And I feel like you're trying to find some balance around the passion there, but normally the Six of Swords, I would say, could be, you know, distancing yourself from a situation as well. But because I see it right next to, you know, rapid sort of, you know, somebody from the past is kind of rapidly coming in here, even though it's sort of a small gesture on in some regard there, but the Temperance sort of balances everything out, you know, on some level. So again, it's the major arcana, but it is further out. So I don't feel like that's the main energy, but you know, some of you might be working through this all a little bit speedier, but for the most part, I feel like it's just something that'll come out a little further into preceding months. But Temperance is definitely finding some kind of balance, and it is sort of alchemizing all of your, you know, these epiphanies spiritually that are coming through for you, and really, you know, really able to transport yourself and progress in some way. But I do still feel like you are kind of finding a level of negotiation in a situation in terms of a relationship from somebody from the past. And like I said, you're taking a more of a middle road approach, practical sort of mentality. I don't feel like you're overly emotional this month at all. And I don't feel like there's any new job or anything coming through here, even though, like I say, I mean, the Hierophant can be, but I don't feel like that's a new start here, because there's too much energy around resisting something. And usually when you have a job situation, that's more of a jumping in, but I feel like you could be looking for, sorry, just an incoming call there. But I do feel like you're looking for some kind of success, and there's some perseverance that needs to be addressed here. But it's almost like you're tired of dealing with something. You're tired of being patient, and you want to, you know, there could be some kind of something that you're trying to heal from here as well. But I just feel like that the key to your personal path here is really going to be you finding it through, you know, meditating, reflecting, something where you're going to have to balance the energy from something in the past. And again, it'll have to be balanced out in some way with this Six of Swords energy. So the Six of Swords energy is, again, just a clarifier to the Temperance, but the Six of Swords is still a level of progression in a particular area. So, I mean, the Six is finding the balance, and it certainly bodes well for, you know, having something move in your favor. It is balance and harmony, you know, in going, you know, but when I see the Four of Swords up here with that Six of Swords, to me, I can't help but feel there's some kind of a level of a transition in around something from the past. So there is some rapid feel of taking a break. You know, I just feel like there's a sense of you wanting to really take a break. You are pretty close to a goal of some sort, and it feels like it's a wish fulfillment goal because we have the Nine of Cups over here. So it's something that you've been wanting. You're very, very close to moving into that space for sure. Because again, I mean, you're in the Queen of Swords energy where you're just getting clear on, you know, how to go forward with something. But further out, and of course, you've got a clarifier of the Judgment, but you're just not in that energy just yet. So like I said, Ace of Cups is something is still coming in for you. And it does feel like it's just, this could be an emotional situation, as I said, but it also sort of bodes well for, you know, a gift from the universe that's coming in that's going to make you happy. So it definitely can speak to anything that's in around water signs or summertime, because the cups do reflect around that. But it's seeking deeper meanings to life here as well. And this does really speak to, you know, kind of a happier situation that's coming in further out. I don't feel quite into June yet, but it seems to be really close to June. And even with the Four of Swords, like I said, I feel like you just want to break. You feel like, I'm getting the feeling of some kind of holiday that is something you're really trying to plan for here, because you're just so close to and they're all positive, except for, like I said, the one card that really did kind of jump out here next to this Four of Swords was, we do have the Death card. I'm going to read through these ones here too, but again, I mean, the Judgment card tells me that you are taking one last minute here just to kind of think about how you're going to be moving forward. But there's also, you know, Four of Cups. Not really sure how you're going to do this because you're feeling a certain level of anxiety around it with the Nine of Swords. So it feels like you know what this is already, but you're just reluctant to move in this direction. And there's an element of resistance, like I said, because when I go up here, you know, this is just the clarifier to the Four of Swords. That was the main energy out. The Tower came through, and again, we've got the Five of Wands, so there's a bit of a battle ensuing here. Some resistance, fighting yourself, could even be with somebody else in the environment here as well. But overall, I mean, the Tower in itself is a pretty strong marker that something significant is, you know, coming into play here. I don't really see it as, I mean, it could be an argument for sure, given the surrounding cards. So there is probably some kind of argument about maybe travel that you're going to have an issue with. But it still speaks to, you know, the Tower still speaks to some kind of significant upheaval. But at the same token, it's right next to the Four of Swords. So for me, it feels like, you know, something is putting you into a place of, because the card, how do I say, the Tower is a card of breaking things apart, but the Four of Swords is a card of retreat. So I feel like, you know, maybe you're at a breaking point where you just need a break. And I feel like you're getting ready to take that break. Like I said, I mean, the energy around the Tower is some kind of surprising event, or it could also be that it surprises you that you are, you know, this is where things are headed, that you are going to be able to take some time out. I don't want to say it's anything around illness or anything like that either, because it's like a deep transformation that's coming through here with the death card. So I feel like, I mean, it can be, I don't like to read into cards of illness and that kind of thing in a really significant way. It could be that somebody is dealing with a significant illness, and it could be in around a child or something like that, or a younger person. But I just feel like overall the energy is, because there's still some kind of battle over here, it doesn't feel like this is death unless you're dealing with the final conclusion to something that you knew to be, you know, pretty prevalent in your world, and that is coming to some level of change. And for sure, there is a level of change here, but the reason why I say I'm reluctant to say it's some kind of final end is because it's around happiness. You know, whatever's unexpected here, whatever your new chapter is, whatever you're in transition toward, it's all cards of happiness. So, you know, the Four of Swords next to the Nine of Cups, next to the Ten of Cups, I mean, that's all family. And I even had another card that came out that was the Ten of Pentacles, although I did put it back. It seems like it's in around family. So there's maybe some upheaval in around a family situation, but it seems like everything is so positive around it, and a lot of money scenarios here. So it's almost like there's an improvement in the finances in some way, because the Wheel of Fortune certainly bodes well in your favor. Again, these are all further out cards. And then the Queen of Pentacles. So it's like something in terms of your resources, something that you've been working on. You know, everything's coming to a conclusion. The money may be a little slower further out, but there is some signs of it here, or the energy around you is at least coming through, that this is wish fulfillment. This is something that's going to make you happy. So like I said, whatever this Tower moment is, it is still in around a cycle of maybe battling that is finishing up here, because the World card is the card of that final stage of a cycle. You are now ready to, like, but again, it's a little further out, because your main energy is still the Four of Swords, where you're pulling back and you're about to move into this. And again, maybe it's based on a trip or a holiday or something that kind of solidifies something for you, where you're going to be able to you know, really understand going forward after you take this trip. Or maybe the trip in itself is what is bringing in this level of happiness, because like I said, I mean, it's like ultimate happiness, and it seems to be around family, and it's just overall joy in some way. You know, it's not even that it's affecting your happiness, it's, you know, it's progressive, 9, 10, you know, level. But again, it's still further out in the, you know, in, not going to be in the month of June, but it is coming in pretty rapidly here, because there is something that is, you know, from the past that is kind of speeding up here. But like I said, I mean, that World card as well as the Wheel of Fortune, I mean, this is really significant energy. But again, you're just not quite in it yet. But with the World energy, again, it's a little further out, because you're still in the Four of Swords contemplating something, a trip or otherwise. But the World card tells me that you are moving into a really successful, self-actualized kind of period of your life, because this is where the Fool's journey sort of ends and gets ready to move on into the next chapter of their life. So this next chapter is going to be about wish fulfillment. So something that you've been something you've been putting in a lot of work toward, especially with that Eight of Pentacles, is really going to be coming in with a level of success. So again, this could be international contacts or something global as well with the World, but I feel like you're finding something that you're looking for in terms of your emotional state. So again, if this is wish fulfillment materially, that's here. If it's wish fulfillment on an emotional level, I'm seeing that here too. Not so much in the month of June, but it is just shy of that, because the energy is still that you're pulling back and you're really trying to evaluate, you know, how to go forward and sort of acquire a certain sense of relief. But again, like, the energy is still dealing with a really long-term project, a really long-term commitment, really long-term sort of connection, and definitely wise information that's going to be available to you for this month. So like I said, I feel like you're really giving a lot of assurances here. that you're still going on the right path, but you are striking a balance here, and it's a very deep, meaningful, connected path. Like this is you really connected to some cycle of the world, some cycle of, you know, cosmic understanding. It's like a really deep level of change that is coming through here. And even if it were talking about health issues, I mean, for the most part, again, I do feel like this could be somebody that is pulling back to take a break here, because the Four of Swords does speak to trying to find some balance, you know, after this, maybe, you know, a surprise, this surprise period of break, you know. And again, it feels like it's all still very positive. So like I said, something is kind of surprising, you know. Maybe there's some form of, and I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what that, because it's paired next to it, it's like it's such a weird combination for me with the Tower next to, you know, a card of relaxation. So maybe there is again, like some sense of stability that is going to help you to be much more stable and solid, because that's what the fours are all about. But again, with that Four of Swords, it's almost mentally is where this Tower moment seems to be kind of affecting you. It's mentally, and it's affecting your energy here as well. But overall, it still moves well into positive cards. So again, I feel like you might be feeling a little more exhausted here in this month, because you again are this progression of 7, 8, 9 wands. So I just feel like you really want a break, and you want things to slow down. And I just feel like you are pretty frustrated and tired here by this point in June. And I feel like you are, you know, in that place of wanting to release something to, you know, you're in a deep transformation period with the Death card. So there's a bit of detachment here on your part this month, but again, it could be just because you're spiritually evolving. There's a lot of downloads coming in here, especially when I see it with next to the Nine of Pentacles, because it's a real independent card. But again, I just feel like you need some kind of physical or emotional, I would say both, kind of energy. You know, you need some healing in those areas. But I feel like you are still in a place where you're, like I said, empowering yourself, you're renewing yourself, you're going to re-emerge here in a really positive way. But it still feels like there's some level of trip or holiday energy that's coming through there. Just to kind of take it through, again, these are all just the clarifiers, but you know, like I said, the energy around the Nine of Cups, I mean, and the Ten of Cups, that's a lot of strong family happiness. And again, it's something you've been working toward. This isn't just random incidences. This is something that is, you know, even could be around a child, somebody 20s, 30s, that kind of thing. Usually sort of 30s range or whatever with the Knight of Pentacles, but it's slower moving energy with the Knight of Pentacles. So again, it's a conservative approach in how you're dealing with this month on lots of different levels there. But when I see, like I said, that Wheel of Fortune, when I see the Wheel of Fortune here, it really does, again, it's still further out, but you are moving into a place where it's just going to be a positive, you know, positive journey ahead for you. So like I said, major arcana, but they're all further out. So you're not quite in that energy here yet, but it is a cycle that it almost feels like there could be something that is even something that could be a year long or something along that line, because the Wheel of Fortune sort of times out. Maybe you had to wait a year for something to sort of come about, but you know, it's a pretty long-standing card when we're talking about a major arcana. And so is the Judgment call, because the Judgment card, even though that is still a little further out here too, it's not really in the main energy yet, but it's a judgment call in around something from the past. So I feel like you're just realizing, spiritual awakening of some sort. You're realizing your path in some regard, because the path is the Two of Wands and you're about to move on that. So again, you're still in the energy of wrapping up a cycle here with the Nine of Wands. And again, you've got to go through some kind of little tower moment here that is in around your mindset. And then you kind of move into this energy, but you are very close to being in the driver's seat here with the Judgment card. And again, it's just a sort of a blast from the past of some sort that's coming in here, but there's a decision to make. But again, I feel like you're kind of pondering a few minutes here before you kind of move into that energy. Again, you're still concluding with the Wheel of Fortune and the World card, because that's you're getting ready to move into, this new space, but it is going to be a very prosperous thing that's opening up for you. And again, I definitely, like with that Wheel of Fortune, like I said, I mean, it just feels like you've got something that is going your favor, like because it was all followed by the Nine of Cups and all of that. It's really going in your favor from, I would say, for the rest of this year. I mean, because this is long-term, long-standing energy. This is nothing that just kind of, jumps into a cycle. This is something that is, it's a path, like a long-standing path, a lucky, fortuitous path, and it is still a connection to, luck and destiny and all of those things. So I feel like you're at a turning point in your life here, and whatever new direction is coming forward here, you're kind of synchronized with this, this discovering of a life purpose. And I do feel like you have to kind of take practical steps and a lot more structure to move this ahead, but I feel like it's almost liberating intuitively on some level for you. So like I said, I mean, there's just a lot coming in here in the month of June that is really going to, have you rise to the challenge. But I feel like there is travel up ahead here. There's progress being made, even in terms of, like I said, with the Six of Cups energy, definitely energy around reflecting on the past, like I said. So I feel like you could be dealing with, like I said, a past love connection here as well. And there is certainly a lot of passion around it. But there's a lot of passion around a project here as well. But it's deep transformation in, it could even be kind of a karmic situation here as well with the Judgment. And again, still a little further out on some of those cards there. But I feel like it's still a place where you're having to sort of respond to an inner calling of some sort that's going to help liberate you. Because like I said, the Six of Swords is that card of moving it to, a really favorable journey ahead. It's a time where the Six of Swords is also that card of, feeling like you haven't been able to, the journey wasn't one where you felt like it was, well, for sure the easy path, but it's definitely kind of stubborn resistance or stubborn strength. And I mean, there could be higher education that's also coming in here as well with that Hierophant and the Page of Pentacles that's being considered here for others of you. But I definitely feel like whatever that advancement is, again, there's some level of progress that's coming in here. And again, as I said, the Taurus energy is still relevant, but I feel like you're not necessarily there might be a message that's coming through, but I feel like this is still a lot of inward work. I don't feel like there's a lot of socializing or connection or anything like that, except for maybe there is with this person here with the Six of Cups. But it still feels like it's a really solitary kind of energy this month. And again, I still feel like the main card out here with the Hierophant is you getting clear spiritually. There's some kind of major epiphany that's coming in with that card. But you're definitely in a place where you're advancing yourself on that level. So yeah, anyway, I should probably wrap this up, but I just want to quickly just make mention again, because we are talking about the Queen of Swords energy here. This, of course, is Libra that's coming through here. But that is sort of perfectionistic kind of qualities here as well. And I feel like even though you are being very straightforward and upfront this month, I do feel like this is you know, you trying to navigate a bit of a difficult situation here that's relating around the past, because there's some very defensive energy here as well, even though it is moving into a more positive direction. But again, this is somebody who's pretty self-sufficient and has a really strong influence. I do feel like in some small way there could be some investment or some advancement in terms like financial success in some small way, because again there was that Two of Pentacles that came out earlier. So I mean there is something here, but there's also something further out that is coming in terms of finances. But again, with that Six of Swords energy, it's still, you know, you're finding solutions to some problem of the past in around someone from the past. And I mean, again, I still sense travel, more than one card here that kind of land in that direction for me. But I feel like you have the courage now to kind of move on past something, or move it into more of a progression of some sort, you know, where it's hard to make that transition between you know, the unknown, or the known to the unknown. And again, that's probably where I'm feeling there's some kind of resistance. But it still feels, like I said, there is a level of you settling down to move in this new direction. You're taking on some new path, some new destination. And again, it just still in that idea of, you know, just still in that idea of maybe even forgiving a situation, because you're coming to some kind of conclusion. So if you felt like you're in troubled waters, that kind of thing, it feels like there is still some form of communication here, or cooperation, something that's going to help you to leave the past behind, or whatever the difficulty of the past was. There is still, like I said, that Tower moment that's coming in here, but it's not the main energy. The Four of Swords is the main energy. So hopefully that doesn't confuse things too much here, but there is a level of progression on that spiritual journey. Four Swords, you're kind of, somebody might be going into the hospital here. I mean, there's a chance, but there is also that sense of, like I said, just feeling overwhelmed by pressure, and you just need to heal, and you're taking a step backward here just to be able to heal and try to think out some constructive measures to, you know, conclude a chapter of your life which you're so very close to. And again, this could be just, you know, being a lot more detached in terms of your relationships, or in terms of a long-term relationship. But as I say, I do feel like you are moving in the right direction here, because it is, you know, composing yourself, and you know, you're not really in a place of stagnation because there's just so much work over here. But I feel like you're just in a place of, you know, trying to prepare for the future. You're just kind of taking stock of things, slowing it down, rest, recuperation, all of that comes into play. So that's a healthy kind of seclusion. There might have been a little bit of an argument of some sort, you know, that forced you to kind of disengage in the month of June, but things will improve after this period. Because like I said, I feel like you're moving in a whole new direction. I don't feel like you want to rush things in the month of June anyway. I feel like you're kind of refining your thoughts, you know, evaluating life, you know, because there's a lot of cards here that speak to that, right? It's about you taking time to sort of self-heal, self-soothe, all of those things, and just taking some time to, you know, be alone here and kind of deal with how you're going to, you know, advance yourself, but preparing for the future. Again, main energies out are just that you're taking stock of where you are, traditional values, belief systems, or where I think you're having to kind of mull over some of your changes here, because the energies were still, there could be, again, some communication that's coming in here pretty rapidly that might be in around, it feels like in around your balance, you know, something that is, because again, the Temperance card is still speaking to, and even with the Ace of Cups, even if there is some kind of new, I just don't feel like it's new job or anything like that this month. It just feels like there's kind of some kind of epiphany sort of energy here. There might have been some kind of repressed emotions here that you were dealing with, or some kind of afraid, of an overreaction, but, fear of getting hurt, holding back, that kind of thing. But it's still energy around emotions that are wanting to be creatively expressed here as well, with that Ace of Cups. And of course, the Temperance in itself is still that card of, really trying to emotionally find some level of satisfaction, or not just balance, but find some sense of balance, and negotiation is probably what's being required here. Because the card of, it seems like there's an immediate surge that comes in, and then you have to sort of balance out the passion, or balance out the communication, or in some way you have to try to reground again, is what I would say there, because there's a lot of energy around trying to reground a scenario here. But again, this is in the beginning of the month, so that Tower card that's further out, I don't know what that is entirely, but somehow it is it's groundbreaking. Like, it is going to be an opportunity of some sort, that'll bring you an opportunity to slow it down and take a bit of a break. And it's almost also kind of divine timing that comes in here with that Wheel of Fortune to stabilize things. Whatever was sort of off balance is going to be balanced out this month. There's some kind of synchronicity of some sort. It's a turning point in your destiny, like I said, that is going to help you to take control of anything that was out of balance, but you're really connected to the higher power at this point. So I just feel like you've got some sense of seeing life in a different way. There is a new beginning, like I said, and synchronizing things. So you might be swept along in something from the past here as well. But like I said, Temperance card still speaks to, you're really trying to find some grounding. You're not allowing yourself to be caught off guard. So, and again, with that Death card that was further out there too, I mean, it's a deep transformation, and you're letting go of the past, where one door closes, another one opens, that kind of thing. But you are, feel like you are in some way, like I said, trying to transform a situation. There's a sense of you renewing, in some way. I don't get any egoic kind of energy here. It just feels like it's very stable, sort of grounded, retreat mode. A lot of self-control and compromise in this month, and deeper understanding, healing energy, all of that. There's a sense of some kind of cooperation with something from the past here too, but it's almost like you're releasing some element of it that might have been, that was out of balance here. You're releasing some element of that to be able to move into this more favorable, kind of fulfilling energy. And again, you've got so many cards further out, even though these are the clarifiers, they're all around direct happiness. And yeah, and I just feel like you've got something that is going to deeply emotionally transform you as well. And as I mentioned before, I mean, you're definitely moving in the direction of something that's life fulfilling, life path is what I would say. Anyway, just going to wrap it up. Just leave it at that for you, Libra. I will do some other readings here, maybe one on more of a Celtic cross sort of scenario here, but that's what I have for you for the month of June. It looks pretty good, and it looks like travel's on the mind, like I said. A lot of emotional balance, you doing a lot of reflection on the past. Certainly feels like you have things underway, and certainly under a strong level of control and mastery. But again, it feels like you're really doing a lot of effort on your part to learn something new. Because not only do I have the Page of Pentacles, I also have the Hierophant. So I feel like you're really putting some effort into this new, I don't want to say it's a new project, because it doesn't feel like a new project because you're at the Nine of Wands, but it feels like for those of you that are doing something engaging from the past, that